As the first morning guns were pounding the stone streets of Jerusalem, there was peace among the marble columns of the temple. But that morning, the peace would be shattered. The people had gathered in the temple as usual for the morning teachings. As the people were curiously walking around, suddenly there was a shout among the prisoners. A group of religious leaders, Pharisees and teachers of the law, were dragging a woman in front of the crowd. Her handouts scattered, eyes filled with fear. Her feet were bare. She fell to her knees in front of the crowd. One of those who had pushed the woman to the ground spoke in a loud voice. "Teacher, this woman was caught red-handed in adultery. According to the law of Moses, this woman should be stoned. What do you say?" The crowd fell silent at once. Everyone's eyes were fixed on Jesus. This question was a test not only of the woman's fate, but also of Jesus' authority. The Pharisees were trying to trap her. If she disregarded the law, she would be ostracized from the people, and if she was approved, she would lose her mercy. But Jesus answered. He bent down and began to write something on the ground with his fingers. No one could understand what he was writing. The silence grew even tighter. The men insisted on repeating their questions. Finally, Jesus straightened up. His face was calm, but there was deep wisdom in his eyes. He said only one sentence. "Let the one among you who is without sin cast the first stone." A cold silence fell over the crowd. It was as if time had stopped. Everyone clenched their hands with stones, but no one could move forward. The stones did not fall to the ground, but hearts grew heavy. The woman waited on her knees. The coldness of the ground was penetrating to her bones, but what was much more burning than that was the people's gazes. Judging, contemptuous, disgusted eyes. She did not dare to raise her head. In that moment, not only one woman's sins, but thousands of people's sins were revealed. Jesus' words hung in the air. "Let the one among you who is without sin cast the first stone." These words undermined the piety that the Pharisees had worn like armor. The stones in the men's hands suddenly became heavy, because it was not just the woman's fault. Each of them had come face to face with their own secret sins. Behind the crowd stood an old man. He had once been a judge. He had tried many cases and ruled against many criminals, but now the stone in his hand was trembling like a dagger stuck in his conscience. Hadn't he also committed adultery in his youth? Hadn't he also hidden his secret sins behind holy appearances? The stone fell to the ground, then another, and another. The crowd slowly began to disperse. Everyone had faced the shame inside them. The woman was still kneeling. She was trying to understand what had happened. Her tears were mixing with the earth. These tears were not only tears of fear, but also of forgiveness, perhaps felt for the first time. Jesus bent down. He came to the woman. He asked in a soft voice, "Woman, where are your accusers? Has no one condemned you?" The woman raised her head. Her eyes were red, but there was a light in her gaze. With difficulty, she whispered, "No, sir, no one." Jesus looked into her eyes. That look was neither condemning nor distant. On the contrary, it was compassionate like a father, gentle like a friend. Then he said the unforgettable sentence, "Neither do I condemn you. Go, sin no more." This was not just a sentence of forgiveness. It was not a word that erased the past, but a door that opened the future. The woman was not only saved there, she had also taken the first step of a new life. Because Jesus' mercy not only protected from judgment, it also transformed a person. His forgiveness was not an empty relief, but a powerful invitation that called one to do better. That woman's name was never written down in history, but her story became the hope of every sinful heart. A story of transformation from being the target of stones to the love of God. Perhaps that is why this story is not just a story of adultery. It is a story about one of us. With his sin, his regret, his thirst for a second chance, and Jesus' silent but shocking message to the silent crowd there, reaching centuries later, echoes in all of our ears. If you are without sin, cast the first stone.